there's nothing like cracking that cellophane, pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Alright, this is Johnny Wasted from DeadNWasted, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. This is Wednesday, June the 6th, and I didn't realize that it's the 6th month, the 6th day at 6 p.m. So, yeah, that's bad. But I hope everybody's having a good evening, and we got a special guest on this evening. I have Johnny Wasted from DeadNWasted. Johnny, how are you, brother?
What's going on, man?
Let's get talking about this new CD you guys come out with. It just went live, 2 days ago or yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
So how's that going so far? Have you guys sold a lot? I mean...
I checked last night online to, at least what could be traced, in terms of iTunes, and it's sold almost 200 copies in the first day, just on, iTunes and Zune and, all of the digital distro sites and everything. In terms of the physical copies, I won't get a copy of that until, next week. But, yeah, I was pretty impressed. I didn't know that many people knew who we were or liked us, so that's good.
Yeah, well, I saw you guys on several pages on Facebook that I've interviewed already, some of the bands, and I saw it, and I was like, well, I'm going to take a listen to these guys. Started listening to a couple songs, and just slowly got into it more and more and more, and I was like, I want to get these guys on the show. I really like your guys' sound.
Yeah.
So where are you guys actually from?
Washington, D.C. area. We live in... Basically, we live in Maryland, but it's 5 minutes from the D.C. line in Prince George's County.
Now, with you guys living in Washington, D.C., the music scene, how is the music scene and the type of music that you guys play? Do you get a lot of support from that area?
Well, we have a lot of friends, but the music scene here is terrible. I hate it. And there's literally no good local bands. Other than, my friends are in a band called Without Warning, and they're really good. They're old school hardcore punk, Minor Threat, and I actually jammed with them until DeadNWasted got together, and then I had to concentrate full time on this. So that's about it. I'm sure there is other good bands, but I just haven't heard them. It's all indie rock here.
And how did you get started, and how did you end up with DeadNWasted?
Well, I've been playing in bands on and off session. I've been a session touring member for so many bands, it's hard to even count. I started off in a band called Summer's End in the early 2000s, and, the horror punk kids would know us for having, the horror imagery, and we did a song with Michael Graves, but we were mostly a metal band. And we were copied by a whole lot of bands that got much bigger than us, because we broke up in, 2005. So, with that, that's where I got my start in terms of touring and playing. How we got to DeadNWasted was I wrote the album pretty much before I had found any of the band members, and I was basically just writing a record that I wanted to hear because I was so tired of everything else, because everything else just sounds the fucking same right now, and I wanted to hear an album that sounded like, punk meets, metal rock,
Yeah.
So it was originally just something that I wanted to write for myself, and then I found band members and just started, coming together.
That's exactly what I think the punk music should be. That's just my opinion. I think it should be punk with a little metal with it, because to me it's more heavier. It's more. I guess I hate saying in your face all the time, but it's more of grabs your attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love metal. Mostly thrash metal. I don't really like all the new metal stuff that kids are into these days, all the bands that rip off Meshuggah. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the screamo metalcore stuff like that. I just, all those guys, cool. I'm glad they're happy with what they're doing, but that's just, I can't get into that. I'm really into old Megadeth, Testament, Exodus, pretty much thrash metal. and I like old death metal, I like black metal and stuff like that.
Yeah, if it's not like Overkill or Metallica and things like that, like old school stuff, it's nothing to me.
Yeah, I mean, like Judas Priest. I love Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Love Judas Priest. And Motorhead, I mean, some people, they're punk, they're metal, I don't give a fuck. I love Motorhead. So
Slayer, too.
I'm one of those guys that I'm not really that into Slayer.
Well, everybody's different, that's for sure.
I mean, it's mainly I don't really care for their guitar solos. They kind of annoy me.
Right.
And I don't like bands where every single song is about Satan. I just think it's tired and played out.
True.
But, I mean, when they were doing it, it wasn't, but, now it's like even going back and listening to them old records, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah. But I do love, there's a lot of Slayer stuff I do really like, but as a whole, I don't really listen to them that much.
And the music has changed so much in the past 5 years, it's not even funny.
Yeah, totally.
So let's get back to DeadNWasted, Johnny. Who all is in DeadNWasted?
Well, there's myself. There's Dizzy Wasted, who's in your chat room, and he's the singer. And then our bass player is Mikey. And Dizzy and Mikey, they haven't really been in any known bands per se. They haven't really toured or anything. But Chris Keller, our guitar player, he played for a band called Criminal Element, which is like a grindcore death metal band. They're on Relapse. And he played with a band called Arsis, Misery Index. And then our drummer, Joe Fox, played for Dystrophy and OTEP.
Your CD that just came out, the full-length Monster, Sex, and Rock and Roll, how long of a process did this take you guys to do this CD?
Oh, the mixing took the longest part because we were just so anal about wanting it to sound the way it does. We recorded it real quick. We went to, we left Maryland on Christmas Day. We drove down to Arkansas in Fayetteville to Sinister Studios with the producer, Jeffrey Feast. And I'd known him from, touring all the time and stuff. He's a really good guy, good producer. He wanted to do the record, so we went down there. We were there for about 14 days. And we recorded all the music, and then we left. And then over the course, we finished the album the beginning of May, the mixing and mastering. So over from January to beginning of May, it was, he would be bouncing us mixes back and forth, and would be like, no, do this, do that, do this, do this. And then there was like some parts, like we did some additional guitar solos and some additional vocals in my studio, and then we sent him the files to put it together and everything. So it was, the mixing process took a really long time. So I'd say about 6 months.
And too, Johnny, if you're going to put the time in to write the music and do the CD and your music with it, I don't blame you guys for being like that, because you have to put a product out that everybody's going to like, but you got to have the product that you're going to like too with it. Yeah,
I mean, even still, there's things about the record that I would change, but I think you could even ask Hetfield about Ride the Lightning, and he would say that there's things about that he doesn't like, even though I think it's a perfect record.
Yeah, he doesn't like playing Escape live. I know, I've heard him talk about that. He hates that song.
I love that song.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The whole album of Ride the Lightning is perfect. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I'm real torn between picking whether I like Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets better. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I guess I'd probably pick Master of Puppets.
Now, these songs that are on the new CD that you guys put out, are these songs that you had been working on for a long time, or just a couple months, or how did it come about?
No, I wrote the whole record in like a month and a half.
That's pretty good.
Like, there's just certain songs that, like, I would just be sitting there playing my guitar, and I'd get the one riff, and then just bam, immediately, like, the rest of it would come out. I'd lay some solos down on it, and then done. So, and I actually wrote a few more songs that we didn't even record. And we just kind of took, like, the 10 best songs and then tracked those.
Now, these other songs that you wrote, are they going to be eventually put on a CD, or are they going to be played live, or how you guys go about doing that?
Well, there's a couple of them that I'm using for another project. It was Dizzy Drastic of the Rejects and the Murder Dolls. He's doing a new record. He's the original singer of the Murder Dolls.
Uh-huh.
And he loves the DeadNWasted record, so he had contacted me about writing some tunes for him. And so I was like, yeah, for sure. So a couple of them I'm going to rework and make them, you know, really solid for his project. And then I have other ones that I am going to revamp for like maybe an EP. And plus I have a whole bunch of new songs. Like we demoed in my studio a new song called Crawl Space about a month ago, and we'll be playing that live on this tour. Because that's a really killer song.
The songs that you are primarily just the songwriter, but does anybody else contribute at all?
On the new record they will. Because, I mean, the only reason that I wrote the whole first record is because there was no band. It was just me sitting around writing tunes for myself. I found Dizzy halfway through it, so he came in when I had already had half the songs written and started putting vocals down and stuff like that. And then the other half, like as I would finish the song, he would come in, record the vocals, and then... But now that we have, like, set band members, you know, I'm going to, you know, even if I write, like, the skeleton of a new song, you know, I'll bring it in the practice space and, you know, I'll let everyone kind of have their way with it, too, you know. So it's, you know, I definitely would like that because it would maybe, like, vary it up a little bit, give it a little bit more style.
Let's talk about this tour that you got. You guys getting ready to go on tour. Is it tomorrow or Friday that you guys are going on tour?
Friday, yeah, because Darrow is actually on their way down here now because their drummer bailed on them, so our guitar player is going to be filling in on drums for Darrow.
Yeah, Darrow Chemical Company, man, I'm so impressed with those guys. Their music is just nonstop. I love their music, and really good friends with JV. I wish you guys the best on this tour, and I'm sure it's going to be a good one, too.
Oh, yeah, I've known those dudes for about a decade now, so me and JV were... It was like back in January, like I was like all drunk, and he was like, you know, we were just kind of like partying, but we were talking on like Facebook or whatever, and I was just like, dude, let's do a tour together this summer. And he was just like, that's a great idea, and then we just started working it from there. I think we announced it like in March.
And the dude is so talented. I mean, he can play bass, guitar, I mean, anything. He's nonstop playing music all the time. Every time I talk to him, it's all. You could tell every one of these guys I've talked to locally are just all about the music.
Yeah, definitely.
With you guys and Darrow going on tour, what about like Blitz Kid? Are you guys doing anything with the Blitz Kid, the farewell tour or anything?
This tour, no. But GV is basically, he's going to be going to meet up with Blitz Kid on July 10th. And then DeadNWasted will be doing like 2 weeks by ourselves, like through the South and up the East Coast, like basically just working our way back home.
How many states are you guys going to cover on this tour?
I have no idea. I haven't even counted, and I haven't even thought about that.
I asked the hard questions. No. No.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, I've seen the tour and the ones that you've been. JV's posted it and I've reposted it on Facebook, so I'll do whatever I can for you guys to get it out there. What can the fans expect from you guys at a show?
We're gonna have a good time. Well, you know, we're not a take ourselves seriously type of band. I mean, we take what we do seriously in the sense that, you know, we know that we're a band and we want people to enjoy our music, and you know, if we're responsible in terms of, you know, if we say we're going to play here, if we say we're going to do this, we're going to do it. We take being a band seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, it's fun. Like, we just want people to have fun. There's not enough people putting out records that, you know, just make you have, you know, it's a good time. You know, that's all it's about for us.
Exactly. And when it becomes a business, that's when it, you know, it's no fun no more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and we've heard a few people be like, oh, they just write a bunch of party songs, and that's not really true. We only have 2 party songs. The rest of the songs are not. You know, if you really listen and pay attention to the lyrics, there's some songs that have pretty heavy lyrical topics, but I think because the music is all written like real upbeat, real catchy and stuff, it all has that party vibe to it. So, I think that's why people say that, but we don't care. It's just as long as people are having fun.
How would you want the fans to remember you when they leave a show?
Wow. Just like, I think a lot of people aren't really going to, I think they're probably expecting a lot less than what they're going to get from us. Because it sounds, when you listen to our record, it sounds like we're just a bunch of fucking dumb drunk guys, and that's the furthest from the truth. We're all, 3/5 of the band are, serious professional musicians that have played with really big bands and have toured most of our lives. So they're, we're a very, very, very solid band, and people are probably going to be pretty impressed with, how tight and solid we are, but how much we're able to let everyone have a good time, and the fact that we're all really cool dudes. Like, we'll be in the crowd drinking beers, talking to everyone who wants to talk to us.
Who was your influences growing up that influenced you to be what you are with music?
Well, my favorite band ever is the Ramones. Ramones and Nirvana. But, like, as a guitar player, I got really into, like, when I was a kid, like George Lynch, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Jakey Lee, guys like that. And so, like, it's hard to say because I've always really liked metal. I always really liked punk. And I never really was one of those people that was just like, oh, well, I like metal, so I can't listen to punk, or I listen to punk, so I can't listen to metal. Like, I've always just been like, I like it all. So it's really hard to pinpoint, like, a main influence for me. And, that, it's just always been, like, Megadeth. Like, old Megadeth is one of my favorite. Like, Rust in Peace is one of my favorite albums of all time. So Marty Friedman was a huge influence on me.
Man, Megadeth's had all kinds of great albums. Like you said,
oh my God, yes.
Rust in Peace. I think Countdown to Extinction was a great one.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
You can keep going on and going on. I think that every album that they put out was excellent. Even the very first one.
Yeah. I really like So Far So Good So What too. Hook and Mouth is one of my favorite songs.
Yep. Yeah, and then the Hidden Treasures one, Angry Again, I think by far that's my favorite song by them.
Yeah, we've been toying with covering that song, actually. It's funny you said that.
Do it. Play it. Do it.
One day, probably not on this tour, but we'll definitely, one day there's going to be a Megadeth song that makes it into our set list.
Do it and send it to me, and I want to hear it.
You got it, pal.
What's in your favorite band right now that you're into, that you listen to the most?
Turbo Negro. Love that band. They're one of my favorite bands, biggest influences on DeadNWasted, period.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Dudes, in my book, is top 10, one of the best albums ever recorded.
Johnny, if you could play with one band, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Yes.
Well, I would definitely want to... Probably Motorhead, man. Mm-hmm. Motorhead or Danzig, either one of them.
Yeah, and Danzig's on tour right now, too.
I know. I just saw him the other night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was bummed out because the show was advertised as a legacy show, and they didn't do any Sam Hain songs. So there was a whole lot of pissed off people there.
I thought that every tour every show that they were doing was part of the legacy thing. I thought every one of them was going to be that way.
No, well, when we got there, we noticed that the marquee said Danzig with Doyle. We didn't really pay any mind because, me and a couple of my other buddies got our tickets like back in March, and it says Danzig Legacy on them. Mm-hmm. So we didn't know, and then when we got there, it was cool, all the stuff with Doyle was awesome, but we were just expecting to see the Sam Hain stuff, and it just didn't happen. We were pretty bummed.
Festivals or clubs, Johnny? What do you guys prefer?
Clubs. I prefer playing smaller venues. Like when I was in some of my older bands and we would be doing these huge festival type things, it was it's cool because a lot of people get to see you and stuff, but it's a little more impersonal, Uh-huh. I like playing right in people's faces, so it's they get people that are paying to come see the music are getting a lot more out of it because we're right there. So,
man, this has been a great interview, and I thank you for your time coming on here, and I hope that the new CD that you guys have out, I hope it sells a lot, and just buy the MP3 upload. Not the physical, actually hard copy, but the digital copy. Seems like you guys are doing really good from what you was telling me, the Monster Sex and Rock and Roll. How can people get in touch with you, and how can people order this CD?
Well, they should be able to get the CD wherever. I mean, if they want a hard copy of the CD, I don't even know anywhere that sells hard. Like, if a band comes out that I really like, I don't even know where to go get a CD nowadays.
Yeah.
Other than going to a show, but I know there is record stores out there. I know that our CD should be there, and so if they want a hard copy, check a store. If a store doesn't have it, they could probably order it. Come see us live. They could get it. We don't have time to put up the stuff before we leave for tour, like in terms of like a merch page or something. But when we get back, we'll definitely have that. But, you know, if they want the album, they can go to iTunes or, you know, I know Amazon, Interpunk, all that stuff has it. So, I mean, that's, for right now, that's all I really know.
That was Johnny Wasted from DeadNWasted, and they're going on tour starting Friday. You can actually go to facebook.com/DeadNWasted, and you can actually find them there and find their tour dates. You can send them messages. They'll get back with you. They're awesome guys. Johnny's a cool guy. And let's go out and support DeadNWasted if you get a chance to. Great music.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.